This is an emergency alert. It is Saturday, August 17th, and we are seeing lockdowns happen at U.S. military bases right now. This is due to attacks on a U.S. military base in Texas. There was a attack that happened earlier this morning on the San Antonio Lackland base inside of San Antonio, Texas. Right, so let's dive into the details here really quick. Please hit it up for me down there. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I'm posting multiple videos every single day, keeping you guys updated on all this big urgent news. All right, so this is a live situation. This just happened. They're still dealing with the repercussions of this attack, and we keep seeing this more and more. We keep seeing U.S. military bases overseas and domestically now even are being attacked. Right, this time it happened in Texas. And where is Texas? It's right at the southern border. It's right in the epicenter of all of this chaos that's going on down there, and we don't know who is coming into our country and who's going out of our country, and there could potentially be people coming over to cause chaos. Right, this actually just happened a few months ago in Virginia. There was a military base that was attacked a similar way as well too. Right, so these things keep happening, and they could be probing it. All right, they could be seeing how quick the response times are, and there was live fire going on. This military base was shot at inside of San Antonio, Texas. Live fire happened, and live fire was given back as well. Right, so I want you guys to listen to this news report here really quick, and then I will give you guys some more details of what I think and what's going on. But listen to this really quick. This is what local news out of San Antonio just reported on this morning.
Just into our newsroom, active shooters reported at the gates of Joint Base San Antonio Lackland early this morning. JBSA officials say security forces returned fire to active shooters. It all happened around 4:30 at the main entry gate at the Chapman Training Annex. JBSA officials did not say if anyone was hurt or how many shooters targeted the base. They did tell us the shooters are not known to have a military affiliation. The gate to the training annex is currently closed. All traffic is being redirected to an entry point north on Ray Ellison Boulevard. Just into our newsroom.
All right, so you heard that there. They are saying it could be multiple shooters that rolled up to this gate at the San Antonio Lackland base, right? And this is a U.S. Air Force base, and this is actually primarily where it's one of the main training centers for the U.S. Air Force. And it is actually rumored that there are potentially even nuclear weapons here, okay? Because previously, decades ago, nuclear weapons were stored at this base, but it is now seems to be classified, right? I can't find any recent information on this, but potentially even nuclear weapons are stored here, and it's coming under fire and coming under attack. It says the shooting is being investigated by San Antonio police, who said in a release that the first shooting occurred around 2:15 a.m. It says, quote, the security personnel stated they heard several shots fired as well as the fired rounds go past them. Sergeant Washington Moscoso said in a release after this incident. The security personnel added more armed guards as a precaution. All right, so there were actually two different incidences that happened, right, in the middle of the night. One at 2:15 a.m. and then it says a vehicle later stopped near the same entrance shortly after 4:30 a.m. Okay, so they haven't even found these guys, right? They are still actively investigating and trying to figure out who even did this. So they don't know who did this, right? That news report was saying that it wasn't any militants, but we are not sure of that. All right, they don't even know who did it, and this happened twice. All right, very very brazen. And says, quote, for a second time, shots were fired at the Air Force security personnel. However, with the additional security personnel present, multiple Air Force personnel returned fire towards the suspect vehicle. All right, so they had shots fired towards them. They said they heard the bullets flying at 2:15 a.m. And then they added a lot more guards. And then they came back at 4:30 a.m. They're just cruising around. What's going on? How did nobody find this car? What are the police doing? Everything. What's everyone doing? I'm sure they have their own cars, the military and the National Guard, that they could be using their own vehicles to find this person. All right, the National Guard assists with the police all the time and things like this. So what were they doing for 2 hours and 15 minutes? This car was allowed to drive around and be free. And then they came back again. They didn't even leave the area. All right, what's going on? 2 times in a row. It's like these security mishaps keep happening. And now our U.S. military bases are under attack. It says the vehicle then fled. No injuries were reported and it remains under investigation. It says it was not known how many rounds were fired, how many suspects there are, and what their motive was, according to Antosh. And it says the entrance was closed for several hours after the event before reopening at 9:30 a.m. All right, so that's what's being reported right now. And it says Lackland is home to more than 24,000 active duty members, 10,000 DoD civilians. All right, and it's one of the main training facilities for the Air Force. So why was this specific place targeted? And it happened twice in a row. So this was a targeting. It wasn't just a random drive-by, maybe something. It was somebody else in the neighborhood was the target. It happened twice, right? And why was this allowed to happen? And this could have been a lot worse, right? We got lucky, and we keep seeing these attacks on U.S. military bases overseas and domestically. This keeps happening, okay? A couple months ago, somebody lit their car on fire, okay? And then drove it into these gates and was ramming the gates until their car blew up, okay? And the person did not make it. All right, it was like I don't know what it was, somebody trying to attack it and just going all out, right? Taking their own life to attack a military base, right? This happened a couple months ago now. We keep seeing these events and they're happening inside the US and they get almost no coverage as well. This should be major news all over, but it's swept under the rug because they know that people are going to start asking questions, right? If this happens, people are going to say, why is this happening in Texas? Is it due to the border wide open? They don't even know who the suspects are, who their car is. They're not putting out any alerts or any specifics on what the car looks like or anything like that. It's very swept under the rug, this situation, right? And we need answers. So make sure you guys are getting ready and getting prepared. We could see even bigger events. This seems like they're testing them. All right, this 2-hour thing, coming back 2 hours later, it seems like they're testing them. All right, they're seeing what the response is, and apparently the response is very low. The response time is very low, and the priority level is very low. Okay, it took 2 hours and 15 minutes, and they came back and did it again and still got away. They weren't even ready to go like, all right, if anyone comes back, we're going to get them. We're going to stop their car. High alert. Nothing, right? They still got away. So they're testing the waters. Somebody is testing the waters at these military bases and seeing what the response time is for potentially something even bigger to happen, all right? This could be the dry run. This could be the test. And we could see a bigger event at these military bases coming soon, right? We also had a couple months ago as well a military base in California. Okay, it was breached by a Chinese national that recently crossed the southern US border, and he refused to leave, right? He snuck very deep into the base and was inside the buildings and stuff walking around before somebody stopped him and was like, hey, who the heck are you? He's walking around in civilian clothes. And they're like, who the heck are you? And he refused to leave, right? He just sat there and didn't talk to anyone and just refused to cooperate or anything like that either. And that seems like another dry run, another test. These tests keep happening. They're probing. They're probing our defenses and our responses. These balloons are probing our aerial defenses, aerial responses, seeing how fast we can respond to things. Okay, the US doesn't have an Iron Dome. We don't have one of those, right? Maybe we should, but we do not have one. All right, our defenses are low and our country is wide open. So make sure you guys are getting ready, getting prepared. Getting out of these big cities, right, is key, and starting to homestead, grow your own food. All these things are critical. That's what we've been working on, and it's going to become more important in the future, especially if we see more attacks and events like this. So thank you guys. Hope you have big blessings for your life, your family, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.